In the world of Jujutsu Kaisen, power has always been inherited through blood. For centuries, three major clans have stood at the very top of the Jujutsu society: the Gojo clan, the Zenin clan, and the Kamo clan. These families aren't just famous names, they controlled techniques, politics, and the balance of power itself. When people talk about strength in JJK, these three clans are always mentioned first. But today, we're not talking about the big three. Because what if I told you the strongest family in Jujutsu Kaisen isn't even officially recognized as a major clan? A family whose members appear only once in a generation, yet each time they do, the entire Jujutsu world is forced to adapt. A bloodline so abnormal that it breaks every rule we thought we understood about cursed energy, curses, and even love itself. That family is the Okkotsu family. From ancient connections that trace back to legendary sorcerers, to a modern descendant powerful enough to rival special grades at a young age, the Okkotsu bloodline carries something far more dangerous than a cursed technique. It carries potential without limits. In this video, we're going to map out the entire Okkotsu family tree, uncover their hidden origins, and answer one important question. Why might the Okkotsu family secretly be the strongest family in all of Jujutsu Kaisen? This entire bloodline begins with Yuta Okkotsu and Maki Zenin, two sorcerers whose union alone is enough to terrify the Jujutsu world. Their marriage is what gives birth to the Okkotsu family as we're discussing it in this video. But before we talk about what comes after, we need to start with Yuta himself. Because Yuta is not just strong, he is abnormally powerful by birth. What many people forget is that Yuta actually has ties to the Gojo clan, the strongest clan in modern Jujutsu society. He is a descendant of the same legendary ancestor as Satoru Gojo, which means Yuta was born with an elite bloodline long before he ever became a sorcerer. And it doesn't stop there. We're straight up told in the story that Yuta possesses even more cursed energy than Gojo himself. Let that sink in for a moment. The man known as the strongest sorcerer of the modern era has less raw cursed energy than Yuta Okkotsu. That alone already places Yuta in a completely different league. On top of that, Yuta's cursed technique is copy, one of the most broken abilities in the entire series. He can replicate other sorcerers' cursed techniques and use them as his own. The only real limitation is time. He can fully access these copied techniques for 5 minutes. But in a real fight, 5 minutes is more than enough. Within that window, Yuta essentially becomes a walking arsenal, adapting, overwhelming, and crushing opponents with techniques that shouldn't even be possible for a single sorcerer to wield. And then there's Rika, the queen of curses, a being so powerful that even special grade sorcerers hesitate in her presence. Rika isn't just a shikigami or a tool. She's an extension of Yuta's will, his emotions, and his cursed energy. With Rika by his side, Yuta gains access to immense power, storage for cursed tools, and the full activation of his copy technique. When you put all of this together, the Gojo bloodline, the overwhelming cursed energy, the copy technique, and the Queen of Curses, it becomes clear. Yuta alone is already enough to define an entire family's strength. And this is only the beginning. Now let's talk about the mother of this bloodline, Maki Zenin. Maki is living proof that cursed energy isn't the only path to absolute power in Jujutsu Kaisen. She was born with a heavenly restriction, the condition that completely removes cursed energy in exchange for an inhuman physical body. And we've already seen what this kind of power can create. One name says it all, Toji Fushiguro, a man with zero cursed energy who was strong enough to hunt special grade sorcerers, dominate curses, and even push Satoru Gojo to the brink. So when Maki awakens the same level of heavenly restriction, her power honestly doesn't need much explanation. She becomes a monster. Maki and her twin sister Mai were born into the prestigious Zenin clan as the daughters of the clan's 25th head. Yet despite their bloodline, they were treated as failures, especially Maki, who was mocked and discarded for her lack of cursed energy. But everything changes with Mai's death. In her final moment, Mai sacrifices herself, taking away the last bit of cursed energy, binding Maki's potential. That single act fully unlocks Maki's heavenly restriction, transforming her into a being on the same level as Toji. From that moment on, Maki isn't just strong, she's unstoppable. With no cursed energy to sense, monstrous physical strength, superhuman speed, and absolute mastery over cursed tools, Maki becomes the perfect counter to sorcerers and curses alike. And when you combine this kind of raw, cursed, energyless power with someone like Yuta Okkotsu, You don't just get a strong couple, you get the foundation of the most dangerous family in Jujutsu Kaisen. Now, when you combine the highest cursed energy potential in the series with a sorcerer who possesses zero cursed energy, but a fully awakened heavenly restriction, the result is almost guaranteed to be something terrifying. That kind of union shouldn't just create a strong child, it should create an anomaly. And around 3 decades later, that's exactly what happens. Yuta Okkotsu and Maki Zenin give birth to Yuta Okkotsu, the first true offspring of this unnatural bloodline. Interestingly, we have very little concrete information about Iori's abilities, which already makes him suspicious in a world where power is always documented. But what we do know is this. Iori eventually marries a woman named Mifuyu, and together they have 2 children, Tsurugi and Yuka. And this is where the Okkotsu family story takes a dark and mysterious turn. Shortly after Yuka's birth, tragedy strikes. Maki Zenin dies the following year, under circumstances that are never clearly explained. Not long after that, Iori himself disappears, completely vanishing from the Jujutsu world. No one knows where he went, no records, no sightings, no confirmation of death. And Mifuyu? She fades from history as well. What remains, however, are the grandchildren of Yuta and Maki, Tsurugi and Yuka Okkotsu, the next generation of a bloodline born from overwhelming cursed energy and absolute physical supremacy, children whose potential is shaped not just by genetics, but by loss, disappearance, and unanswered questions. And if history has taught us anything in Jujutsu Kaisen, and now we finally reach the next generation. We learn that Tsurugi Okkotsu is born with zero cursed energy, inheriting a fully realized heavenly restriction, just like his grandmother Maki Zenin, a body refined beyond human limits, no cursed energy to sense, no weakness to exploit. But that Tsurugi doesn't fight alone. Before everything fell apart, Yuta entrusted him with a ring, and if you already know where this is going, you're absolutely right. That ring contains Rika. Just stop and imagine this for a second. A sorcerer, with Toji-level physical dominance, paired with the Queen of Curses fighting at his side. Honestly, with this combination, even Toji Fushiguro himself would have been on a completely different level. And with Rika supporting him, it's not crazy to say that someone like Sukuna would be forced to take this fight seriously. That's how dangerous Tsurugi is. And then there's Yuka Okkotsu. Unlike her brother, Yuka inherits an entirely different kind of terror. The divine curse technique, 10 Shadows. A technique so broken that it once stood as the only known equal to the 6 Eyes and Limitless. Which means one thing. Mahoraga stands by her side. A Shikigami capable of adapting to anything. A single existence powerful enough to overwhelm half the verse on its own. So now let's take a step back and look at the full picture. Even if we completely set aside Iori and Mifuyu, this family still includes 2 heavenly restriction monsters, 1 10 Shadows user, 1 wielder of Rika and overwhelming cursed energy. Tell me honestly, isn't this the strongest family in all of Jujutsu Kaisen? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to subscribe. This is only my 2nd video and your support genuinely means everything. Much love to all of you, and I'll see you in the next one.